Hello, family. It is I, Intawi, and I am a spiritual medium. Thank you so much for joining me today. On YouTube, please do subscribe to the channel and press the notification button so that when information comes, when videos get to be uploaded, you are one of the first people to know about it. I really appreciate your comments. I appreciate the feedback that you are giving, and I'm glad that we are really moving certain people, and that's good. Some of the comments are in languages that I do not understand, but I suppose that's the kind of reach. That's when you know that there is impact, that there's impact, and hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully it is a good one. I will translate them for myself and read what everybody else is saying when time really does allow. So today we are talking about, I'll just call it elements, ne? For a lack of a better phrase. So there are certain people who would say to me, Gogo, I was raised in a different setup altogether. Our parents never taught us anything that has to do with African spirituality, communication through, communication in an African spiritual kind of way. So I do not understand what is the relevance of certain things. So why do we use snuff? Why do we even patla? Why all of these things? So I'm going to be talking about certain elements and why are they important, right? So that you can now get over the culture shock, because it is one thing for you to be told do this because that is going to happen, but when you are going into it and you do not know, why am I doing this one even in the first place? I remember in English, first year, my lecturer who taught us English, Mempala, was teaching us the term to be on a bandwagon. And she said, do you know what is it to be on a bandwagon? And we're like, no, bandwagon. So we are all thinking about a wagon that has horses and stuff. And but what do you mean it's bent? We're thinking it's actually crooked. And so she gave a perfect example that up until today, my friend and I still joke about it. She says, if you come to the university and you find that people are actually toy, having a protest. In South Africa we call it a toy. Yeah, when they're having a protest and you find them going, oh, 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 you know, we don't want Pala. Her name was Mempala. We don't want Pala. Oz, Oz, Oz. And you just come in and you join. Oz, Oz, Oz. We don't want Pala. Oz, Oz, Oz. And while you are busy in the heat of things, and you start to ask, who's Pala? Why don't we want her? But you are already on the bandwagon, and it's really moving. And at the end, in the thick of things, in the heat, in the moment, you are then asking, what exactly are we doing? Why are we paddling? What is it to paddle? Why do we do it with snuff? Why do we do it with water? So I want to get you off the bandwagon. Or if you do get onto the bandwagon, you must understand how and why you are on it, how you got to be on it. So let us talk about the principle of ukupahla, pasa. Kasipedi, in my language, we call it pasa, re pasa badimo. So, and I think we spoke about it in one of my videos, but because I constantly get this question and everybody would be saying, how do we do it? Why do we do it, Coco? So, Okpatla, it is not a way of worship. It is not a way of worshiping ancestors. It is a form of communicating with the ancestors. We just talk to them. Why do we talk to them? So that we update them on what is going on with our lives, so that we put forth the proposals, the request. I need a job. I need a car. I need health for my children. We need health for one of the family members that are ill. We need what we are building a house and we don't want to run out of money, and we are having this particular space, ancestors, where we are going to live in this new house, and this is going to be your home. That is where you will find us next time when you are looking for us. We are building a house and moving on to a new site. We have a new baby in the house. We are getting married, you know. The Mhlongos and us are now having a new friendship, and we are having a new family set up. So please recognize the Mhlongos as they recognize the Mwejanas, whatever that you are trying to be doing with your life. So we communicate the milestones of our lives. We also communicate the nitty gritties, safety, health. Health is not a nitty gritty, it's a big thing. But your day to day, you know you are having a new partner, you go communicate that, because you want your ancestors to do due diligence on this particular individual, so that we know that this person is actually coming with good intentions, and they're coming to edify your life, and they're bringing peace, and they're bringing all of these things that are not going to make us end up in mental hospitals. We need the ancestors' foresight on certain things, and that's why we consult with them. And when you are a healer, when you have a healer spirit, it even becomes much more of a very consultative thing, because you realize that the you-ness, the who you are, the Ntabi, the Sophia, the Mateu version of you is actually very, very lessened, because you have now this presence of ancestors. So we talk to them on the daily. Sometimes on the daily it's very, very possible. Sometimes you do it whenever you can, but don't go way too long without keeping your own guides and your own protective system, your own guiding system for a long time without them knowing what is happening in your life. Okay, so I treat them like bodyguards. So if you are Whitney Houston, I told you about my love for the bodyguard. So if you are Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner does not know where you are, have you ever seen how he panics just when he goes and he does not see where she is? Oh, panic! That kind of dedication to his job. Ne? You want to say that kind of love? That kind of dedication to his job as a bodyguard. So if your bodyguard does not know where you are, it's a problem. If you cannot go, because you are a prized possession of your ancestors. It is not so much that they are obsessed with you, it's because you are a prized possession in their family. You are walking around with their DNA. They need to know where it is, what is it doing. When you are out of balance, they need to know. So you tell them, and you have a fellowship with them. So that is why we partner. That is why we send libations and we talk to them. We do not worship ancestors. We don't say, oh, you are mighty. Oh, but you are great. They are, and they are mighty. But we don't do it in that way. Not in a form of worship, but in a form of sending that respect and giving them their own place in our day-to-day life. So one of the elements that you use to patla, it is snuff. Can you believe that I'm all out of snuff? We are packaging. We are busy packaging. People just get the snuff. They're like, Coco, what is this? There's a brown substance in my package. What is that? So the brown substance in your package is actually snuff, and I pour a couple of things so that when you communicate with your ancestors, it goes for gold. It hits. Why? Because other people communicate. They say they patla, they say they pray, and they talk to ancestors, but ancestors don't give them feedback. So you can't be having a monologue. You can't be having a monologue with ancestors. There's a time that you have to grow. It's like prayer. In prayer, there are stages. There are certain prayers where you feel and you're like, Mara, nah, this prayer did not go over the ceiling, you know. And so you know that you need to get traction from God, from Allah, from whoever you are talking to. You know that even in meditation, you need to get some sort of peace, or but something has to feel different after you have dedicated yourself or had that particular session that you are going to be having with something that is bigger than you. Some people call it God, the force, Allah, whatever you believe in, whatever you believe in. But there is always something that is bigger than you. So now, in African culture and African practice, we would use snuff. It is not mandatory that you use snuff, but it is also not something to shun away from, because snuff used to be very recreational amongst old people. Old people used to put snuff in their mouth, they used to snuff, what a tongue twister. You sniff the snuff as a form of, this is what we do as friends. This is what we do as older people. So the very same thing you would then offer them. Why? Because old people used to love it. Now somebody would then say, Ntabi, but I must go and patla my grandmother, and my grandmother never even had a single snuff in her life up her nose. It is not about her, because your ancestor, it is never one individual. People come to readings, they want to connect with ancestors, and ancestors in their eyes are the people that they have seen passing on. The thing of ancestors is it's complex. It's like a whole plethora of people. It goes on for generations and generations and generations. So you can't just say one character did not used to do this and now one character is doing that. This particular character, whenever they are on the other side of the spirit, they need to appease other people. It's like the system in jail. People in jail don't smoke, but then you have to bring smokes, because that is what that is some sort of a currency wherever they are. So you can now come there for a besuk, and you don't buy you don't buy a cigarette because you have a different belief, and your boyfriend there does not smoke. It's not for him. It's for him to get favors in the place that they are at. And equally so, it is not for your grandmother who did not like snuff. It is for her, when she comes into the spirit world and speaks to other people, she must bring something. It's like coming to my house and I've invited you and you don't bring wine. Why don't you bring wine? You are so rude. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But you see, it's a gesture. It's a beautiful gesture. That's what the snuff is about. So mine, I say it's activated snuff, because I put in certain things there that make it very quick and easy for your ancestors to reply to you and to hear you. So I call it activated snuff. So if somebody's sitting there and say, hey, this gogo now is now selling snuff, use it. Come order it. It's only 20 rands. South African rands, 20 rands. Come order it. After that, you cannot tell me that you are having a one-way conversation. It's like you are Romeo, Romeo, but wherefore thou art, oh Romeo. You will know that there is traction. Your ancestors will reply to you. So Peter, I do not have it. I used the last of it yesterday when I went to the river and to the mountain with a group of people that I took there. So and this whole teaching is it's more than the snuff. Then there's the water. So you have your snuff, you have your water, a glass of water. This glass of water, or a cup, an enamel cup that has water. The understanding is that what we are drinking here in the living, we also want you to drink it. So isn't it that we are communal, we are family, we are pleasing each other? And the same thing would happen with millimil. In my culture, or at least in my family, but in most petty families, they would also use the millimil, so that what we are eating, you are also eating. Let us eat together from one pot. Most importantly, wherever we took out, you ancestors, wherever you are, you must fill up so that we never run out of food. So in that way, we are speaking to provision. We are speaking to them providing for us. right? Then there are certain ancestors who would require beans. Yes, beans. Uncooked, or some of them will actually give an instruction to say cook. But it is because that is what they used to eat. Now we are catering to their specifications, their dietary requirements, and some of them would have wanted beans. So you just take beans wherever you're going to be passing. You're going to be sending libations. That's the right word, in fact. And some of them will require milk because they used to love milk. They used to, get milk from the cows, from the goats, from the, is the sheep milk? They should be. What do little lambs eat? Yes. So they used to extract milk from them and surf it up, make it into nkomasi, make it into the fresh milk, and that's what they used to do. So talk to them in the language that they understand. And some of them used to love alcohol. um the Gordons is quite popular because people who worked in Johannesburg or in the cities, they used to bring this particular gin for them because it was the white people's drink, and you were tending them, you were catering them, you were giving them nice things, you were just, you know, you were I you were just making them feel important with that gardens, and they got to love it. And now they're dead and they're thinking, hey, yeah, now I'm past mazibuko, I'm past. Hey, usayikhumbula kodwa leyo gin. I don't know if Zulu people drink, but you understand what I'm talking about. So the alcohol, the white, but baswati utshwala umhlophe, because it was synonymous with white people. And then there is also the umqombothi, home brewed alcohol, right? Jwala ba Sesotho, the the one that those people in locations, you always find them drinking and enjoying. They are the happiest people with 3 rands. And when you are there in your fancy car and your tax bracket, and you can never have the joy that those people have coming out of a 3 rands drink. How much is it now? Is it 10? I don't know. Maybe it also goes up with inflation. I don't know, like everything else. So those would be your own paddling pack: the snuff, the water, the millimil, the beans, the milk, the alcohol. And so you understand the significance, right? You are just being polite. You are just giving them their favorite things. And if you, the person that you are sending these things to, you do that has never eaten those things, so you've never seen them do that, but you must understand that there is a certain system that they exist in, and they have to go and find favor for you amongst other people. So they don't just do, you'll never find one ancestor really doing everything. It is absolutely impossible. And when you find them doing everything on their own, they would even say in a reading that I work too hard, I'm alone, do this and other things to activate other ancestors. So why would other ancestors on the other side not be activated? Because for a long time we have not interacted with them, and we've not spoken to them, and we have not given them their place in our lives, and therefore they just go on and do other things. So the other thing, that most people find it to be an utter culture shock, is the understanding of going and praying at the veld outside. There are certain rituals that you cannot perform in certain houses because of reasons like our parents were not married, our families were not on good terms, but still spirituality still needs to happen, ancestral work still needs to happen, connection still needs to happen. Other ancestors from the father side, even though they did not raise me, they still want a connection with me because I am theirs. So, regardless of what had happened between my mom and dad, and their mjolo issues and their communication issues and their cheating issues, it's very irrelevant to my being and the core and how my ancestors see me. So, whatever issues they had, They just had their own issues like in any other relationship, but the product of that relationship, it is still very much a serious entity of the ancestors, and ancestors are invested in this particular child or children. So what happened between you lovers is really in the periphery. You will understand over time just how relationships do not do well in spirituality. Ne? You will understand it. And it's not because I'm a cynic. I am a lover of love and beautiful things. But ancestors do not care about the nitty-gritties of your relationship. Ancestors care about the products of the relationship, right? So now you will then have to do certain rituals at the felt. Kosgangeng, kohlathing, kwa, you know, kolesoding. In my language, you would say kolesoding, kwa. Because we do not have a good relationship as people, or we parted not in good terms, but still we still have to do ancestral work. We still need to make peace. We still need to cater for this particular product that has come out of this relationship, regardless of what had happened. And now we would go do certain things at the mount, at the field. And the other thing, like I said in one of the videos, is that we believe that spirits do not reside in graves. Not all of them, not all the time. Some spirits, especially in Africa, you would find that a person has relocated, or they were working in mines, the migration system or the labor system that just did not really favor families, that really did not favor African families, has also taken up its own place in the predicament of there is a certain great grandfather who is buried elsewhere, or he died elsewhere, or he was even, you know, he fell into the mine when the mine sank. Other people fell in rivers. We do not know where they are. And so now we go to these particular places so that we can properly go speak and interact with their spirits. And then you have mountain prayers. Mountain prayers gives everybody shock, and I'm surprised at the level of shock that people have regarding mountain prayers when we talk about African spirituality. It gives me the worst shock in the world. The other day I was doing a consultation with a very pretty woman there, and her ancestors were saying, we are people who go pray at the mountains and we are river people. And she's like, no, 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 no. Tell my ancestors that I will not go to the river. Okay, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm in Tavi. You can come talk to me. And I'm like, okay, no, that's fine. She's like, no, 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 you're not hearing me. Tell her. Tell that Gogo on the other side that I don't do rivers. Okay? Then I have this nervous laugh. This nervous laugh. Ow. Eh. Music here is a protest. It's a serious ooze. Ooze, ooze. But why? Because listen, my job is to be a messenger from spirit to you, to connect you, and so that you can now communicate with your own people. Remember, I don't give anybody a spiritual gift. I only activate and enhance and explain it as I see it. So, literally, I am a spiritual journalist. That's all I do. I'm not even involved in the story. I'm just a spiritual journalist. So my job is not to help you be disobedient to your people. My job is to tell you what your people are saying so that you can hear them for yourself next time. And you and them can have a relationship. And that is why I do what I do. Now, and people would say, but no, I'm a Christian. And I'm like, no, you can't be Christian and be reading the Bible upside down, because most things that ever the Moses went up to a mountain and saw a burning bush. Jesus, after he has told everybody in the Garden of Gethsemane, he went up to the mountain and he told them, you must remain here, my gents, and keep on praying for me. Carry me in prayer. My gents were sleeping, like, no, but Jesus said, hey, we travel, Baba, we are tired, yo. From Bethlehem to everywhere, no. Guy of Nazareth, we are like so tired. Then they slept. And then he came back, he's like, my gents, what is this? Guys, you are sleeping. Oh, when he came back from a mountain. You know, you have all of the stories about Abraham taking Isaac to the mountain to be a sacrifice. So why won't we go pray to the mountain when we do African spirituality? The symbolism of praying at a mountain is that it's the highest peak. It is the highest that you can ever get to not be touched by anything else on the surface. You thought I was gonna say the highest you can ever get to heaven. Ne? There's no heaven. Swada. Get out of the concept of heaven. Heaven is when you are in tune and aligned and living your dreams and living a beautiful life. That is heaven. When you are living your purpose and everything else is happening and is good, and you are in touch with your spirituality and your soul is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. That is the heaven. But anyway, so when you get up, when you ascend up a mountain and you go pray to God, and you partner to your ancestors to help you amplify the prayers. You don't go up the mountain and pray to your ancestors. No, you ask them because there are variations of ancestors, but then you ask them to carry you through, to amplify your voice. When you say, Jehovah, help me, God, help me, they must then say, God, help our children, help our child, please. And it's a hiding place, it's a secret place. The mountains are powerful. Caves are even better. Caves are just another thing altogether. You get into a cave, you go pray in a cave for 2-3 days. You are sitting in the cave and you are just praying. It's absolutely wonderful. And when you ascend down that mountain, I tell you, you are just in breakthrough, just like this, because these are sacred places. But again, these particular sacred places, you have to be respectful when you get to them. So you cannot just come there having done your conjugal rights, right? Having done activities of the Garden of Eden, and then just go to the field. Like, yeah, no, I know. You know how Desmond Tutu says it? Desmond Tutu says, he used to say that sex is one of the most beautiful gifts that God has given us. The whole archbishop says that. But there are certain things that you cannot do, no matter how beautiful it is and how God has given it to us, so that we can multiply, right? That's, yeah, for the purpose of procreation. So no matter how wonderful it is, it has its own place, and it has certain spaces where it does not come in. So you have to be clean enough, pure enough, right? 3 days just before you go to these places. Because these places have their own ancestors who have their own set of rules. Some people have gone there and not have come back. But that is not the thing that you must be focusing on. The bigger thing that this element is intended for, it's for your own spiritual growth, and for you to penetrate into the things that are difficult. Or even you can even go there to give thanks. You don't always need to go there because you have problems. You can even go there to give thanks. Then we have the ant hill, Seulu. Isdulu, I'm told in Zulu is called Isidulu. Ne? People who are Shona, they call it Churu. And then I don't know which dialect it is from Zimbabwe that call it Mujuru. So that is what we are talking about. An ant hill. Ant hill. You know that thing that looks like a pyramid and it's brown and it's made by ants, and you hit it and all ants will bite you. Yes, those, so don't go there unprepared. Now, the same thing that I was talking about libations at the felt is also applicable here. But the ant hill is much more significant in making spiritual covenants. Spiritual covenants. There are most of us who would say, but my father did not acknowledge me. I was abandoned. I don't know my parents. And when we are talking about these ancestors, who are we talking about? Because my mind has no frame of reference of any particular relationship here on earth. But in the spiritual realm, you can go and rally your ancestors and talk to them and make certain commitments on an ant hill. You must find one that is closed at the top. Sometimes you would find them, they're a little bit round. You must find one that is closed. The one that is open is used for people, is used by people who want to send out bad luck. So we are not about that life. Ne? People who want to into zabantu, people who will just, make your luck spill. They would choose that. So when you find one that is open at the top, don't go for that. That one does not build. It does not build anything. So so wait for it. Perhaps it's just the development of the ant hill, not necessarily that somebody is standing there and waiting for ant hills to do whatever, and then they're like, yeah, no, we're gonna stand there and watch this ants build this ant hill for the purpose of witchcraft. No, 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 no. I doubt witches also have time. I really doubt it. But sometimes you find that it has not developed. So wait for it, or go find another one very close that has developed. So you go there and you paddler. You can go paddler per instruction, or sometimes you just have an inclination, because that's how the spirit works. It just works on you, intuitively feeling like you need to do something. And so you would go at an ant hill. So we understand, ne? I don't know who my father is. I don't know the side of the family or the side of my mom's family. But I hear that I need to go talk to them. Who are they? I do not even know their surnames. So I'm going to go and just introduce myself as Ntabi, the child of Diana and Donald, and tell them that this is the issue. They know me. For the fact that I don't know my ancestors, it does not mean that my ancestors do not know me, because your ancestors are actually the machinery as to why you are here. So it is impossible for Johnson and Johnson to produce a baby oil that they do not know the batch number of. The batch number might find itself somewhere, anywhere in the world, and not know where the factory of Johnson and Johnson is. The actual bottle might find itself anywhere in the world and not know where the factory of Johnson and Johnson is. But Johnson and Johnson knows the batch number. We understand. So we are over identity crisis issues, ne? Good. Now let us talk about the river. Water. Why would you go pray at a river? Why would you go send libations and go pasha at a river? Because 70% of your human body, your torso, it is made up of water. You know that ad that says, it is water, people. It's just water, people. So please do not be afraid of water. Well, be careful, like every other thing. It's not like you have to go there and disrespect water and get in and not even follow the signs of water. If the current is going that way and it's harsh and the water is full, you can't just go in there and say, Gogo said ancestors will save me. No, no. Spirituality also operates within the confinement of logic and science, most imperatively. So, water, it is the one element that is really, really the thing that everybody else is connected to. You are not made up of fire. Your spirituality can also be enhanced by the presence of fire. You can have the fire people, the earth people, the wind people, but you are made of 70%. A whole 70% of your being will respond to this thing that is flowing. And that is why you will talk to it, because water is a good medium into spirituality. Water is a good medium into spirituality. You will then go into the river for the activation of your gift. And that is why when you don't know where you are going to go and you are misaligned and everything else is going in this way and is messed up and you do not know and you can't find the red from the yellow, from the orange to the black, and you need water to help you see what is where. Why? Even in the teachings of Christianity, John has been anointed that he baptizes Jesus, his cousin. This person, we have been waiting for this Messiah forever. We have been told about the son of David that will one day emerge. But how are we ever going to identify him? Nobody knows until the day that it was ordained for John to be sitting there. John the Baptist, the one that baptizes other people and gives them a certain thing that operates in them and activates the power of the Spirit. So how would we see him? By the dove. And then suddenly, not that he did not know his cousin, but he needed to have a sign from God. And he goes into the water and he immerses him in the water, and the dove lands. And he immerses. So Jesus has already been having a gift. He was born with it. That's why, he had a baby shower via the wise men, the three wise men. They were like, hey, yeah, no, buy your cord. Where's the pram? Where's the car seat? Do we have enough napkins? Emergency we do, Then he had his nice baby shower there. But as much as he was an important person, somebody had to activate it, and he activated it with water. And people get to be afraid of going to the river. This was not water from anywhere. It was river water, right? Or naturally sourced water. Before my other scholars of the Bible say, yeah, interview. So people have this obsession of snakes, a serious obsession of snakes. And they say, but what if I go to the water and I see a snake? It is its own habitat. It stays there. You went into its home. And I never understood this concept about dogs. So I have a love and hate relationship towards dogs. I love dogs, but I sometimes don't like dogs. So when I go to people's house to go fortify, I then have this thing to say, put your dog somewhere, put your dog somewhere. But when I think about it, it's like somebody coming to my house and say, put your child somewhere. It is his own natural habitat because he does not like children. Put your child somewhere because I don't like dogs. Put your dog somewhere because I don't like snakes. Let the snake not come through when I'm there. It is its own natural habitat. You went to its home. So expect it. It's like somebody coming to your mother's place and they love you like, baby, but hey, I hope your mother is not there. It's her house. Where would she be? We are the intruders. So anyway, with that said, I really, 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 really am afraid of snakes. And when I go to the river, I pray, oh God. But remember, we have an anti-animal policy. So the snake effect is just so little compared to what you're about to gain. There are certain cleansings that cannot be performed at home. There are certain cleansings where we would steam you and prepare a bath for you, and then you would go into the bathtub and cleanse yourself with whatever things that we give you to cleanse yourself. But there are certain issues, big issues, that cannot be confined into a yard, that we must go and ask the ancestors of water, that we must go and pray and ask God to help you from there. And you must go. So please stop being very disobedient. People come and say, I'm dreaming of water, it means I'm gifted. You are dreaming of water, go, it means you are invited. More than gifted, you are invited. Go to the river. And I don't know. When you were young, when you were 5, you used to get into water and to do whatever. And now you are older, and I wanted to say wiser, but it would not fit in this sentence. You no longer do these things. So go to the rivers. Even if you don't get in, you just send your libations, you just sit on a rock. And trust me, if the ancestors of water really want you, even on that rock, they will sink it. Like, ooh, okay, I'm really not making your life easy. But what I'm saying is that be safe. Be safe. Like any other place, it needs to be respected. So be safe. Um, then there's the river water. The river water helps when your things are stagnant. It pushes through your things to happen. The river water helps to cleanse you. Some people are depressed. Some people lost jobs. Some people's life are stagnant. Some people are having too many enemies, spiritual enemies, physical enemies. They are hated. They are everything about their being is just being met with resistance all the time. And sometimes it's not just nice to sit here with the person and watch them go through a lot, and because now you want to exercise the your gift and you just give them information because really you can see that's a plus. But we want real solutions, and rivers provide those solutions, and that's why I package the water and I sell it to you. Do I sell it? I offer it to you. I offer it to you. Then you have spring water, metsi asidiba, spring water, natural spring water. I am not talking about the one that you get from retail stores. But that is just really for commercialization, though it's really, really nice. And they get them really from some of these places where we get the spring water. So when I say, please go get spring water, somebody's already writing, I'm going to go to Woolworths. No, 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 natural spring water. Where you go and ask and you tell the ancestors of water that you are unwell, that you are out of balance, that something is happening in your body that you do not understand what it is. There's an intruder in your blood system, in your stomach system, everywhere, in your headache, in your head, with your eyes. Those are that's what the water normally is good for. Your children are not sleeping. Your children are unwell. Your children can't concentrate. Spring water, because it stabilizes things from internally. Whatever that has not been in balance, whatever that has been muffled up spiritually, then it puts it into spiritual alignment from inside. And that is why we have spring water. In the teachings of Abraham and Sarah, and that a family issue that they have with regards to having children, and then they were like, baby, go ish. Do you see Hagar there? Hagar is nice, man. Go there. And then Hagar has a son, has Ishmael and everything else. And it comes to a point where now Abraham takes Hagar out on Sarah's instruction, and she says to him, go, let them go, because now we have our child, and this one is now going to be claiming the inheritance. So adios amigos. And Hagar goes out into the wilderness, and she's super stressed and depressed and just has this child, and she sees a spring. You know that song? It says, Joale ke bonisi tiba sanete siti vase mapotise monating. And really, the water, that's how you tell the distinction. The river water compared to spring water, it's way different. It's way different. But as you go through that civilization and you understand the state of depression that she was in, and finally she finds the water, and it gets into the system, and the depression is gone. It's gone. Then you have the waterfall, pororo, water that is coming from the mountain, that least favorite place of yours and mine too. I don't like climbing, but when I have to do the climbing, I climb. Coming from the mountain top, and it hits you right here, and you know what happens? You get to open up. Your entire spirituality opens up. There are certain people who are gifted And along their path, they met up with people who were wrong along their path, and they sort of confused your gift. Nobody can close your gift. I doubt anybody can. I really doubt that anybody can. But they have sort of confused your gift. And when they have confused your gift and confused your path, and ancestors or God requires that you go to a waterfall at the highest level of anointing, and it hits you very, very uncontaminated by anybody. Nobody has touched it. When you are at that river and I'm on the other side, this water at some point is somehow contaminated, and you then have the waterfall, and your entire spirituality aligns, and your prayer power and your prayer level, it's amplified. Oh, the waterfalls, they're very scarce. So I get you waterfall water. Do we say waterfall water? We Do I get you water from a waterfall? Or do I bottle the waterfall? For 100 rands is only for very, very specific people. And I would have to really see that you need waterfall water. So I hope that this helps you, so that next time when you have to get into I don't do these things, you understand that these are natural elements. No ancestor has ever created a river. No ancestor has ever created a spring. No ancestor has ever created a mountain. No ancestor has ever created a waterfall. But they have went there so that they can draw more power and be amplified in their spiritual level. Because any other time you are met with battles, you are met with the opportunity of building. And how do you do that? You have to go and get trained in your spirituality and go and get more power to carry the load for the next step. And what is the best thing to sharpen you is natural elements to sharpen you. I love you. Be well. Bye bye.